China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil.
India is on our side. This is what Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said. As the US continues to express concern over New Delhi's purchases of Russian oil, Zelensky underlined the importance of keeping ties with India. The Ukrainian president appeared to reject the idea that India was contributing to the war in Ukraine by purchasing Russian oil and suggested that the US and European Union can offer solutions pertaining to the energy sector that work for India. He also warned against withdrawing from Indians. He said, "I think we have to do everything not to withdraw Indians and they will change their attitude to Russian energy sector." US President Donald Trump, on the other hand, once again blamed India alongside China for contributing to the Ukraine war. In his over an hour-long address at the general debate of the 80th session of the UN General Assembly, Trump said China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. Joining the debate, European Union President Ursula von der Leyen said that she wants Europe to stop purchasing oil from Russia by the end of this year. Trump is absolutely right, we are on it, she said. These comments, by the way, from her came shortly after the US President Donald Trump criticized the European Union in the United Nations General Assembly for keeping the Russian war effort against Ukraine alive by purchasing Russia's oil and natural gas. Now the question is India really funding the Russia-Ukraine war? What exactly has Trump said about India purchasing Russian oil, and how has the European Union reacted to the situation? Let's take a look in this video. Days after wishing PM Modi on his birthday and heaping praises for him, Donald Trump once again returned to his old self and continued blaming India alongside China for funding the Russia-Ukraine war. He also reiterated his false claim of him putting an end to the India-Pakistan war. In his address at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Trump said,
China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. But inexcusably, even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products, which, as you know, I found out about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy. Think of it. They're funding the war against themselves. Who the hell ever heard of that one? In the event that Russia is not ready to make a deal to end the war, then the United States is fully prepared to impose a very strong round of powerful tariffs, which would stop the bloodshed, I believe, very quickly. But for those tariffs to be effective, European nations, all of you are gathered here right now, would have to join us in adopting the exact same measures.
However, India has already debunked such claims in August in a press release which was released by India's foreign ministry. Trump, in his speech, also attacked the European nations for purchasing Russian oil. The US president had earlier said that the European Union should impose tariffs of up to 100% on India and China for continuing to purchase Russian crude to encourage the two powers to decrease their reliance on Moscow, to limit energy revenues for Russia to pump into its war efforts. European Union's President Ursula von der Leyen met Trump on the sidelines of the UNGA. Shortly after meeting the US President, von der Leyen said that she wanted the EU to stop buying Russian fossil fuels for good by 2027. She said Trump is absolutely right, we are on it. In a post on X, she said, "We tightened the pressure banning imports of Russian LNG into European markets and targeting refineries, oil traders and refineries in third countries. By 2027, Europe will have turned the page on Russian fossil fuels for good." However, this is easier said than done. Europe continues to depend heavily on Russia for certain energy products, despite 2.5 years of efforts to decrease this reliance. While some European countries have been able to find alternative energy suppliers, other European countries have not been able to reduce the import of Russian energy so quickly. Europe continues to be the biggest buyer of Russian LNG globally, importing around 51% of Russia's LNG. The European Union was also the biggest buyer of Russia's pipeline gas, purchasing 36% of its total exports. On top of Trump's claim that India is funding Ukraine war, many times the Trump administration has claimed that India has kept Russian oil economy afloat when the West tried to cut it off. There have also been claims by Trump's team that India has obstructed peace in Ukraine and India has been using its trade surplus with the United States to funnel dollars into Russian accounts. However, the claims are not factual. Going by the facts, Russia's oil isn't banned worldwide. Unlike Iran or Venezuela, it's sold under a price cap set by the G7 and the European Union. This rule allows countries to buy Russian crude as long as the price stays below the fixed limit. India has been buying oil within this allowed range only. Also, Indian refiners don't pay for Russian oil in US dollars. Instead, most transactions go through middlemen and are settled in other currencies like the UAE dirham. This whole system helps India stay within Western rules and it doesn't break financial sanctions and still follows the G7 price cap guidelines. Trump and his team also overlooks India's clear stand on the Russia-Ukraine war. At the United Nations, G20 and other global platforms, India has consistently called for dialogue, de-escalation and respect for sovereignty. So while Trump continues trying to put India in a spot, European nation Hungary has refused to suspend Russian oil imports despite the pressure from the US and the European Union. So what is your take on the matter? Share with us in the comment section below.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.